Hey guys, it's Digital Brent here for Revenue Lab Online, coming at you today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the emotional cycle of change. Okay, so before we get into the emotional cycle of change and discussing that and what that's all about, I just wanted to point out that I'm trying to put a little bit more effort into my videos to make them more polished and more fun to watch. But one of the things I'm learning is that it's really time consuming at the beginning of this journey to make these videos and to figure out all this software that you have to know to put these little things together. But I'll continue to study and improve on these videos, and hopefully this little presentation is a little bit more engaging for you guys. So let's get into it. So when we're talking about the emotional cycle of change, it's sort of a wavy curve like this. Now there's a little bit more to it, but this starting point is the most important part. So right here at the start, you're just getting the inclinations of an idea forming in your head. Maybe you've seen a few people have some success with whatever it is that you're trying out. Maybe you've seen some headlines or advertisements of gurus and stuff online. Like I have seen a lot where they'll be like, hey, if you do drop shipping, you'll make $5,000 a day or something insane like that. Or we made $600 just today doing affiliate marketing. There's a lot of hype about different methods of making money online these days. Or I built some AI trading bot that got me 500% return on my investment. This is where these guys hook you in, is right here at the start. And what happens is, as you start seeing these things and getting excited about the prospect of whatever it is that you want to do. So let's say it's something like starting a garden. My girlfriend's really into gardening. So when you're starting your garden, you're thinking, man, this is going to be so awesome. I'm going to get the dirt. I'm going to get the seeds. I'm going to get all this equipment. You probably invest a bunch of money into it. You're thinking about the outcome. You're thinking about all the delicious veggies you're going to eat when it's all done, and maybe share with your neighbors and kind of impress them or impress your friends, like I grew this in my garden. You're getting real hyped. You're building up your emotional state. You're getting amped, and you're on the incline. So this curve here represents our emotional state through this journey. This is a phase called uninformed optimism. So it's called uninformed optimism because you do not yet have all the information. You only have a part of the picture. Yes, you can be successful at this, but you will go through a longer journey that you're not aware of to get to that success. Now, your outlook on it right now is optimistic because you're only envisioning the end goal. You're only envisioning the fruits of your labor. They have intentionally kept the challenging parts, and sometimes even your own mind does this to you, keeps the challenging parts out of the picture. So you're blissfully unaware at this point. So after uninformed optimism, you get to this kind of top of the hill here, where you're at the zenith of your emotional state for a long time. Maybe for the rest of the journey until you accomplish your goal. I call this is not what this is called in the real emotional cycle of change, but I like to call this the apex of inspiration. So, and the reason I call it that is because at this point, you have had nothing but inspiration. You've been inspired to start, and inspiration is fantastic for getting you to start and getting you maybe off your butt and taking those initial steps towards your goal. But inspiration ends in this next phase where after this top of the hill here, you sort of start to see the full picture. It starts to develop, and you start to realize, wow, there's a lot more to this than I had initially thought. So if we return to our gardening example, maybe there's a lot of bugs that get into your garden. Maybe you have too much sunlight, as we do here in Florida. Some of the sunlight can kill some of these plants because it's just too much. Maybe you forget to water it. Maybe your plants die. Maybe they get a disease. Anything can happen. A lot of resistance will start to happen, and you will not have anticipated it because you were only thinking about that optimistic mindset, the end goal. You were only thinking about the rewards that come from it. Now you're experiencing, and you're starting to experience, some of the resistance that the universe is throwing at you on your journey. Some of the problems that will arise are becoming more and more apparent. This is a phase that we call informed pessimism. So, informed pessimism is called that because your outlook has started to change from optimistic to pessimistic, from positive to negative. You're starting to have doubts. You're starting to experience trouble. You're starting to experience problems. You're realizing that there's more work involved than what you had anticipated. It's called informed pessimism because you're gathering that information, and you have a little bit more information now than you did at the start, and more information is coming as you are progressing. You're still progressing towards your goal, albeit your emotional state is on the decline. So you enter this phase and you kind of start careening downwards, and you enter this little kind of spiral of maybe negative thought or challenges that are popping up out of nowhere. And sooner or later, you're going to find yourself in this little area of the map called the Valley of Despair. And really, there's kind of a fork in the road at this point, because in this valley, you have a choice to make. You can either continue on with your journey and trudge through it, or you can give up. And a lot of people give up when they're in this valley of despair. Because, let me tell you what, this valley is a long-ass valley, and there are plenty of challenges. Here, it gets a little bit heavier. Maybe you have a big setback. Maybe your business, you find out that you didn't register something important, or your intellectual property gets stolen, or your building burns to the ground, heaven forbid. But a lot of people experience heavy setbacks in this valley of despair, and it causes them to give up on their goal. And a lot of people, it doesn't even take that much. A lot of people give up, and they march themselves right back to the very beginning where they start over. Maybe not in this same exact goal. Maybe something else catches your eye, or you change your goals, or you're onto something new. You lost interest in that other thing because, you can't make any progress. It just seems like that valley of despair just lasts forever. So you start over, you find something new, you get hyped again about that, and you're on your way back up the hill. You're excited again. You start thinking again about, well, this is the new cool thing. This is the thing I'm going to do. And again, you're neglecting to remember some of the details of some of the challenges and setbacks. You're only focused on the quote-unquote fruits of your labor. So you're up here on the top of the hill again. You're all happy and feeling optimistic. You're feeling charged, motivated, inspired. And then you cross that threshold, or you cross that apex of that hill again, and you find yourself, starting to doubt again. Oh no, even with this new endeavor, there is challenges, there's problems, there's unforeseen issues that arise from this. And once again, you will find yourself, if you're not careful, careening back down the hill towards the valley of despair. Now, a lot of people do this over and over again in this cycle, and they just end up repeating themselves and never really making progress in any one area of their life, kind of just dipping their toes in the water with different subjects and different endeavors that they want to take on. And you never really make it through that valley of despair. So what do we have to do to get through all of this cycle, to shatter the cycle and to get through that valley of despair that I mentioned before? So here's the map here. Again, it's a lot of trudging through. It's a lot of perseverance. And in my other video, I talked about the 6-step roadmap to success. And really, this valley of despair here is where you're going to have to really apply that, and those last 2 steps of that specifically, which are to endure and persevere and continue relentlessly on your quest despite what the universe throws at you. So when you get through that phase, you will arrive at a point that the experts call informed optimism, but I like to call it experienced optimism. Because when you have trudged through the valley of despair and you faced all those conflicts and all those challenges to your goal, you have gained experience. So you're seasoned now. You are more equipped, you're more prepared to deal with these issues. You've sort of seen what the common challenges are. You've probably dealt with most of those surface level issues. Hopefully things are getting a little bit smoother and kind of evening out for you. There's not as many problems. You're better able to weather those setbacks and challenges and resistance that get thrown at you. Eventually, if you persevere enough and come out of the other side of experienced optimism, you will find yourself experiencing the success that you have been looking for. Now, this is, like I said in the beginning, an incomplete roadmap because there will be smaller, more diminished cycles of this same pattern that will happen over and over again, probably before you experience true success. But the idea is that you will have the knowledge to keep this graph on the general incline. So it will go up and down many, many times in the course of your career or your pursuit of your goal. But it will eventually start to not be so extreme. It will start to kind of level out and go towards that success that you crave. So that's it for this episode of Revenue Lab Online. I'm Digital Brent again. I will have another part of this episode or of this emotional cycle of change coming out next week. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I put a little bit more effort into this video, and I think it kind of shows. I've got this little cool template here. And I definitely think that it's important to say I feel like I'm right here on the endeavor that I'm currently pursuing, which is, forming this Revenue Lab Online. I feel like I'm right here in the informed pessimism phase because I'm starting to see all the challenges that come with making these videos. It's very time consuming. I want to make them nice, but it's very challenging. I am not going to stop, and I think I've gotten better so far, and I think you guys can see that. But I fully expect that at some point I will suffer a major setback that will really test me, and I hope I'll have the strength to persevere and continue. So we'll talk about that a little bit more next time, about how to get through that valley of despair and how to get to the experienced optimism on the other side of that. Until next time, guys, I'm Digital Brent again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment and let me know what you guys want to see next time. And we'll see you guys later. on Revenue Lab Online.